Hello everyone, this is G and I'm back with a new video. I hope to make this quick because this is a topic that's been going around for a while now. And especially if you've been on Twitter, you've probably seen it. You've probably seen me make a few tweets here and there about it. But it's all this, in my opinion, ultimately pointless drama about Hogwarts Legacy, right? People who have worked on the game, whether they were developers or whether they were voice actors, have been harassed over it, right? Troy Levitt, for example, right? He basically, got harassed by the Twitter mob because of his YouTube channel where he critiqued Anita Sarkeesian in a few videos, and then all of a sudden he was alt right and right wing and Gamergate and all this other stuff. But other things have come out too. But especially, I believe the game is a few weeks from being released. I think next month. But there is this big push, at least in the circles I run in on Twitter, there's this big push to basically try to shame individuals into not getting the game. Whether it's individuals like Brianna Wu, who says here that Hogwarts Legacy isn't a game, it's a character test, and a lot of people are about to fail it. Or whether it's individuals like, I believe she's an actress, she's named Sarah Daniels. She said in one of her tweets that she used to basically be one of the background characters at like the Universal Studios, I guess, theme park, Harry Potter theme park. And she basically had a tweet where she's like, well, if I'm not going to get the game, then you shouldn't either. Now, as you might imagine, I am very much against this push to force others to boycott it. It does not bother me either way if, as individuals, Brianna Wu or Sarah Daniels or others boycott the game. I've always said it, and I will continue to say it. You have a right to your personal opinion, your personal feelings, your personal offense, your personal likes, dislikes, pet peeves, so on and so forth. That's fine. You have every right to buy or not buy anything, right? And especially if you have kids and you're concerned about questionable content, right? Being in a work and having that in your home and showing that to your kids or letting them play it, regardless of what others think, regardless of what general perception is, you have a right to say, no, I don't want my child to have this or to see this or to play this or whatnot. You, as an individual, with money to spend, because video games are expensive, right? They on average, come out between what, $50 and $60, sometimes 70. And that's not even taking into account the price of, say, a gaming console or a gaming PC, which is going to be hundreds of dollars at the very least. Gaming is a lot of things. Cheap ain't it? But you, if you have the money and the means to make it a hobby, you have every right to buy or not buy something. So on that level, if Brianna Wu doesn't want to get the game because she feels like J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, that's her right. If Sarah Daniels wants to basically virtue signal and try to act as if she's a trans ally, because let's be honest, a lot of these folks claiming to boycott the game are still going to try to find ways to get it. But if she doesn't want to get the game because she wants to stand in solidarity to trans people who didn't ask her to stand beside them, well then yeah, she has every right to not get it. What people don't have the right to do, in my opinion, and this seems to be something that is lost on Twitter, is that people do not have the right to bully and shame others for what is ultimately a personal choice. You don't have the right to bully and shame others about their purchasing decisions, especially when you cannot prove that their purchasing something is actually going to bring harm to themselves or to others. For all the complaints about how J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, or how getting the game is transphobia, or how anybody who participated in it, no matter what they did, has in some indirect way engaged in harming the trans community or has engaged in transphobia, I've yet to see anybody who's made such a claim actually prove where the harm is. One person's like, I saw one tweet And they were like, J.K. Rowling has literally committed violence against the trans community. I'm like, do you have a police report? Do you have a news story? Because that would definitely make the rounds if she actually physically harmed a trans person. Of course, we all know that this is less about actual trans rights or trans advocacy and more about virtue signaling. Because let's be honest here, this is not about the game. This boycott is not about the game. It's not even about Harry Potter, because I'd venture to guess that many of the people who are calling for these boycotts are Potterheads. They're Potter fans. The thing is, they have now backed themselves into a corner because they've taken this popular social media stance of standing for trans people by pretending to hate J.K. Rowling and pretending to hate any and everything that's ever been associated with her. Right? But if they go against their stance, right? If they go against their anti J.K. Rowling everything, anti Harry Potter everything stance, well then they're standing alone, right? It's hard being alone. It's hard having to make a vow in a public space and then be held accountable to it. If they fail, well then they get mocked, right? It shows their hypocrisy. But guess what happens? So guess what they try to do? They try to not just bring others into their fold, because it's one thing to say, I'm doing this and I hope you consider it too. That's one thing. But it's another thing to say, I'm doing this, I'm boycotting this game, in this case, right? Because I feel that J.K. Rowling is transphobic and I don't want to support her, I don't want to support her, right? I don't want to give her more money. Right? And then to say, you must agree with me that your morality, right, is dependent on this, as we see here with Brianna Wu's comment. You must agree with me or else. You must agree with me or you hate trans people. You must agree with me and engage in this boycott that you did not personally choose to make, or you are a social ill, you are a bad person, you are anti-trans, you are this, you are that. I'm like, it's not even a generally accepted premise that J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, because you'll find trans people who like her, and you'll find trans people who dislike her, and you'll find trans people who are completely neutral or just don't give a damn about her or what she thinks. But people like Brianna Wu and many others, right, they don't want to simply just take a stand on their own. They don't want to be alone in this. So they try to drag you into it because they want to control you. It's really bullying behavior, right? Let's go to a bunch of people, or let's put out this statement that demonizes and vilifies a bunch of people for literally no reason, no actual proof that harm is done, no actual proof that there's been any sort of rise in transphobia or anti-trans sentiment or anything because of this game, or from people who have purchased it or who plan to purchase it. But no, it's just simply, I want to control the narrative. I want to control you. So you must now follow me in basically this mob mentality, right? It's like when Gaston, lies through his teeth at the end of Beauty and the Beast, and he paints the Beast as this big giant monster. And why does the crowd follow him? Because he's Gaston, right? He's the hero of the town. He's the resident hunter. And he's just shown them via Belle's magic mirror that the Beast is a big scary monster, right? He's roaring and he's in everything. They don't actually know about the Beast. Belle does, right? But they don't let Belle talk. They don't listen to her. The resident bully of the town is the one who literally silences her while he riles up the town and tells all these lies, so they go march to the castle to murder a beast man who was no threat to them. But they don't know that, right? And that's basically what's happening here. They're basically telling lies, telling tall tales, because no one ever actually... Here's the funny thing. For all these claims of J.K. Rowling's transphobia, I have yet to see anyone actually show a tweet, actually show a video clip, and this is Twitter, right? Twitter is peak receipt culture, gotcha culture, right? Cancel culture. For all of this talk of how dangerous her statements are and how anti-trans they are, no one has reposted anything. It's constantly retweet land on Twitter. I know because I do it. And yet, no one as of yet has actually shown any proof that she's actually transphobic, right? They have built up this monster in their mind. They have built up this acceptable target. And now not only do they take aim with their own personal, well, I'm not going to buy it, which is fine. They don't have to buy it. But now they want you to take aim too, right? And they want to play on either your shame or your ignorance so that you too will attack the beast, right? The beast this time being J.K. Rowling. Difference is that you're dealing with people who are Potterheads, and unlike the townspeople in Beauty and the Beast, who can actually think for themselves and who can actually research and who actually spend a lot of time on Twitter and therefore know that you haven't been able to prove your case. You haven't been able to prove that Rowling is a threat to the trans community, or that buying a video game that features a world and character she created is somehow a threat to the trans community. And again, if you personally are like, look, I don't agree with what she said, I'm not buying it, that is your right, that is your choice, and I respect that. I personally have no intent to get the game because I have no interest in it. Same way I have no interest in Harry Potter. I'm old enough to remember when Harry Potter was new and all of the main actors were little kids. I didn't care for it then, I had no interest then, I have no interest now. But what I always have an interest in is individuality and freedom and the right to do something, even if other people disagree, right? As I've said before and I will say again, things that you dislike have the right to exist. There are plenty of things I dislike. I don't like Resident Evil. I don't like horror games. That doesn't mean that they should be destroyed on my account, right, because they cause me offense. I simply don't play those games. I don't buy those games. I don't talk about those games. I understand that it's not for me. And I know it's also not my place to try to get rid of something for no other reason than Jean does not like it. I'm an egotist, but I'm not that egotistical. But anyway, that's the video, more or less. Just live and let die, as the song goes. And live and let people buy things or not buy things. And stop trying to force people under your thumb and your authority. The only person who has to exist under your authority, unless you have children, right, is you. You are the authority of yourself. Stop trying to be the authority of others. Or if you're going to be the authority of others, become a politician if it means that much to you. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day and night, everyone. Bye.